Struggling with those frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom? You're not alone. Many seniors don't realize that what you drink can be the culprit behind disrupted sleep. In this video, we'll explore 5 common beverages that might be affecting your nightly routine, and how cutting them out could help you enjoy more peaceful nights. Top 5 drinks to avoid before bed. Number 1, alcoholic beverages. First up on our list, we have alcoholic beverages. Many of us enjoy a drink in the evening, but unfortunately, alcohol can be a major reason you're waking up to pee. You see, alcohol acts as both a bladder stimulant and a diuretic. That means it not only irritates your bladder, but also makes your body produce more urine. This combination makes it a prime suspect for those annoying nighttime bathroom trips that break up your sleep. And it really doesn't matter whether you prefer beer, wine, or spirits. All types of alcohol tend to increase urine output. This happens because the main ingredient, ethanol, is what acts as the diuretic. So, no matter what kind of alcoholic drink it is, the more you have, especially close to bedtime, the more likely you'll find yourself needing to urinate frequently. Interestingly, alcohol also messes with how your brain controls urination. It actually suppresses a hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. Normally, ADH tells your kidneys to hold on to water. But when alcohol lowers those ADH levels, your kidneys get rid of more water. This leads to a fuller bladder, and you guessed it, more urges to pee, even while you're asleep. And this isn't just anecdotal. Scientific research consistently backs up alcohol's diuretic effects. Studies have actually shown that when you drink alcohol, your body ends up losing fluid because it produces more urine than the amount of liquid you drank. This effect can start pretty quickly after you have a drink, which means if you're drinking in the evening, your bladder can feel full throughout the night. So, what can you do? To lessen alcohol's impact on your nighttime bathroom visits, it's a good idea to stop drinking any alcoholic beverages at least 4 hours before you plan to hit the hay. This gives your body some time to process the alcohol and for those diuretic effects to ease up a bit before you try to sleep. If you're looking for a relaxing evening routine that won't have you worrying about waking up to pee, think about some healthier alternatives. Herbal teas such as chamomile or valerian root can help you relax without putting stress on your bladder. Even warm milk or a small smoothie that's friendly for those managing diabetes, just make sure it doesn't have diuretic fruits, can be really soothing choices to help you unwind peacefully. Number 2, caffeinated drinks. Next on our list, let's talk about caffeinated drinks. That morning coffee or afternoon tea might be a ritual you love, but things like coffee, many types of tea, colas, and energy drinks can really affect your bladder, especially if you have them later in the day. Caffeine, as many of us know, is a stimulant, and it can lead to your bladder feeling more urgent and making you go more often, which definitely contributes to nocturia. You see, caffeine is a known irritant to the bladder. It can actually increase the activity of the detrusor muscle. That's the muscle in your bladder wall. When this muscle is more active, it can lead to a sensitive bladder, making you feel that urgency and need to urinate more frequently, even if your bladder isn't full. This, of course, can make nocturia symptoms worse. And it's not just about irritation. Caffeine also acts as a mild diuretic. What it does is increase blood flow to your kidneys while at the same time reducing how much water and sodium your body reabsorbs. This natural response means your body ends up producing more urine. So, if you have caffeine too close to bedtime, it just adds to the problem of waking up at night. It's also important to be aware of some less obvious places caffeine might be hiding. We all think of coffee and energy drinks, but caffeine can also be found in some sodas, chocolate, especially dark chocolate, certain pain relievers, weight loss supplements, and believe it or not, even some decaf products can still have small amounts. So, if you're sensitive, it's always a good idea to check the labels. To lower your risk of caffeine-related nocturia, the general advice is to steer clear of all caffeinated products for at least 6 to 8 hours before you plan to go to bed. For some people, especially those who are more sensitive to caffeine or are managing conditions like diabetes, cutting it off even earlier might be helpful for getting that uninterrupted sleep. Making the switch to decaffeinated versions of coffee or tea can be a really useful step. Now, decaf drinks aren't always completely caffeine-free, but the amount of caffeine is much, much lower, making them far less likely to stimulate your bladder. And don't forget about herbal teas like peppermint, ginger, or rooibos. These are naturally caffeine-free and can be wonderful, warm, soothing options for the evening. Number 3, carbonated beverages. All right, moving on to number 3, carbonated beverages. This includes everything from sugary sodas and diet colas to what might seem like harmless sparkling water and even celebratory champagne. These can be surprising reasons for those nighttime trips to the bathroom. It's the fizziness itself, which comes from dissolved carbon dioxide gas, that can irritate the bladder for many people, leading to more frequent urination and a sense of urgency. Now, we don't fully understand exactly how carbonation irritates the bladder in everyone, but the thinking is that the carbon dioxide might directly affect the lining of the bladder or the nerves that control its function. This irritation can trick your bladder into feeling fuller than it actually is, which means more trips to the restroom and, unfortunately, disrupted sleep. And here's something to keep in mind. Even those carbonated drinks that are marketed as healthy, like unsweetened sparkling water or seltzers with natural flavors, can still trigger nocturia if you're sensitive. While you're avoiding sugar or artificial sweeteners with these, the carbonation itself can often be enough to irritate the bladder and increase urination. This makes them not so great choices for the evening for some folks. Just like with other bladder irritants we've discussed, it's a smart move to avoid carbonated beverages, especially in the hours before you go to bed. A good rule of thumb is to stop drinking any fizzy drinks at least 3 to 4 hours before you plan to sleep. This gives those irritant effects a chance to wear off, which could mean fewer awakenings during the night. Of course, everyone's sensitivity is different, but drinks like colas or fruit-flavored sodas that are highly sweetened might have a double whammy effect. That's because both the carbonation and the sugar or artificial sweeteners can irritate the bladder. Diet sodas with artificial sweeteners could also be an issue, and even though sparkling waters are simpler, they still come with that risk of irritation from the carbonation. So if you're looking for a bladder-friendly drink for the evening, your best bet is to go for still or non-carbonated options. Plain water in moderation is always a good choice. Herbal teas like chamomile or lavender, or even a mild fruit infusion using non-citrus fruits, can be soothing and hydrating without causing that irritation. These options can help you relax and wind down without adding extra worry about your bladder. Number 4, excessive water fluids. Coming in at number 4 is perhaps a bit of a surprise: excessive water or fluids. We all know that staying hydrated is super important for our overall health, and it's especially critical if you're managing diabetes. But here's the paradox when it comes to nocturia. While getting enough hydration is vital, drinking too much water or other fluids, especially at the wrong times, can directly cause those unwelcome nighttime bathroom breaks. It really all comes down to balance and timing. When it comes to managing nocturia, when you drink is often more important than how much you drink throughout the entire day. The key here is to front-load your fluids. This means drinking more earlier in the day and then gradually reducing your intake as evening gets closer. This strategy allows your body plenty of time to process those fluids well before you go to bed, which helps minimize how full your bladder gets during the night. It's quite simple, really. If you drink large amounts of any fluid shortly before bedtime, your body will naturally produce more urine overnight. Your kidneys don't just stop working when you sleep. They keep processing. So, any excess fluid you drink late in the evening will get processed, leading to a full bladder that will likely wake you up. So, what's the game plan? Aim to drink most of your fluids during the morning and afternoon. A really good approach is to sip water steadily throughout the day. Then, as you get closer to bedtime, say about 2 to 3 hours before, significantly cut back on your fluid intake. This doesn't mean you have to go completely dry, but you should limit yourself to just small sips if you feel thirsty. How do you know if you're getting it right? Well, proper hydration usually means your urine is a pale yellow color. If your urine is consistently clear like water, you might actually be drinking too much. Other signs that you could be overhydrating include needing to urinate frequently throughout the day, not just at night. On the flip side, if your urine is dark yellow, that can be a sign of dehydration. And being dehydrated can also cause problems, as it can make your urine more concentrated and irritate your bladder. Beyond just how much you drink, also pay attention to what you're sipping in the evening. If you do need a drink, go for small amounts of plain water or a non-irritating herbal tea. Definitely avoid chugging a large glass of water to quench your thirst late at night. Instead, stick to those small, measured sips. It's important to listen to your body's thirst signals, but try to prioritize your sleep by carefully managing what and how much you drink in the evening. Number 5, citrus and acidic beverages. And rounding out our top 5, we have citrus and acidic beverages. Drinks like orange juice or grapefruit juice, as well as other acidic beverages, are well-known bladder irritants for a lot of people. The high acid content in these drinks can really aggravate the lining of your bladder. This can lead to symptoms like increased urinary urgency, needing to go more frequently, and even discomfort, all of which make them pretty poor choices right before you go to sleep. So what are some of the key acidic beverages you'll want to avoid in the evening? Think orange juice, lemonade, grapefruit juice, and even cranberry juice. Cranberry juice is often thought of as healthy, but it can be quite acidic and irritating for some. Tomato juice also falls into this category. And be careful with some fruit punches or other drinks that contain a lot of citric acid as a preservative, as these can also cause issues. It's the acidic compounds in these drinks, things like citric acid and ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C in high amounts, that are thought to directly irritate the sensitive tissues of your bladder wall. This irritation can then trigger bladder spasms, or what's known as an overactive bladder response, basically making you feel like you need to urinate more often than you normally would. These bladder irritating effects from acidic drinks can start pretty soon after you've had them, and they might last for several hours. So, to lessen their impact on your sleep, it really is best to avoid these drinks altogether in the evening. Ideally, you'd want to stop drinking them at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, much like the other irritants we've talked about. But what if you're craving something flavorful in the evening? Well, you can consider some less acidic options. For instance, pear juice or diluted apple juice, especially if you choose varieties that are lower in acid, might be tolerated better. You could also try water infused with cucumber or a very small amount of non-citrus fruits like berries. These can give you some flavor without a lot of acidity. And of course, herbal teas are still excellent choices. One more thing to keep in mind is hidden acidity. Some processed foods and drinks use citric acid as a flavoring agent or as a preservative. Now, usually, these are in smaller amounts, but if you're highly sensitive, even these can contribute to bladder irritation. So, it's a good idea to get in the habit of reading labels and looking for terms like citric acid or ascorbic acid. This can help you spot potential triggers that you might not have expected. Proper hydration strategy. Now, let's touch upon a proper hydration strategy. It's really crucial to stay well hydrated throughout the day. Ironically, not drinking enough water can actually make your urine more concentrated. This concentrated urine can then be more irritating to your bladder and could potentially make nocturia even worse. Plus, dehydration can sometimes lead to constipation, which can put further pressure on your bladder. So, the aim is to have a consistent fluid intake starting from the morning and going until the early evening. And then, as we've said, taper off. A good way to check your hydration is by looking at your urine color. If it's pale yellow, that generally suggests you're well hydrated. If it's dark yellow, that's a sign you probably need to drink more. This kind of balanced approach helps maintain your bladder health without overloading it at night. Managing medical conditions. It's also important to talk about managing medical conditions. If you've made these dietary changes and you find that your nocturia isn't getting any better, it's really important to consult your doctor. You see, frequent nighttime urination can sometimes be a symptom of an underlying medical condition. This could include things like diabetes, bladder infections, an enlarged prostate, or even sleep apnea. Your doctor is the best person to investigate these possibilities and discuss potential treatments that go beyond just your beverage choices. These might include medication or other types of therapies. So, to wrap things up, by eliminating these 5 problematic beverages, especially before you go to bed, you can significantly reduce those nighttime trips to the bathroom. When you thoughtfully manage how much fluid you're drinking throughout the day and make smarter choices about what you drink in the evening, you really do pave the way for more restful, uninterrupted sleep. And ultimately, this can enhance your overall quality of life and your well-being. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you struggled with nighttime urination? If you've tried making modifications to what you drink, please share your experiences in the comments. For more insights on improving your sleep and other health tips, we invite you to subscribe to our newsletter. And please, don't forget to share this information with friends or family members who you think might find it helpful in managing their own nocturia.